connected.
What's up YouTube, and welcome to another video. Cold air intakes are not new to automotive enthusiasts. By replacing your stock restrictive intake track with a more freer flowing cold air kit, you can free up a little bit of power and get a better appearance under the hood. My 1999 Ford Mustang GT is completely stock, down to the Motorhead air filter and even the factory intake silencer. Today, I'm going to replace that system with a cold air kit from Airaid. The Airaid setup features an intake tube made from high-density polyethylene, and it offers incoming air a smooth path to flow through. The tube breathes through a premium air filter mounted on a velocity stack to further increase airflow. The air filter is encased in an open air box that isolates it from underhood temperatures. Okay, so let's get started replacing all of that with all of this. First off, let's pop the hood. Using an 8mm socket or nut driver, remove the clamps on the stock intake tube at the throttle body. Remove the two hoses that tee into the intake tube from both the air idle bypass valve and the PCV valve from the driver's side valve cover. Using that same 8mm socket and ratchet, remove the bolt that holds the airbox to the inner fender. Unplug the mass air sensor harness connector, and if your Mustang has an intake air temperature sensor like mine, unplug that as well. Remove the factory clamp that holds the air filter housing halves together, and remove the air intake tube and mass airflow sensor. The other half of the airbox can now be easily removed along with the air filter. If your Mustang is like mine, in that the stock air intake silencer is still on, pull that through the inner fender as well. If your car is equipped with an intake air temperature sensor, now is the time to remove it from the intake tube. You can use that 8mm socket or nut driver to loosen the clamp and pop the tube off the sensor. There are 4 10mm nuts that hold the factory mass air to the airbox. There is also a screen that Ford puts in front of their MAF meters, but this will not be used with the Airaid setup. Remove all 4 retaining nuts and separate the sensor from the airbox half. The OEM screen simply pulls off. Install a mounting gasket on both sides of the Airaid airbox. The velocity stack sits inside the airbox and has threads in it for the mass air retaining bolts. Line up all of the mounting holes and thread in your 4 bolts. Due to the spacing of the bolt pattern, they can only go in one way. The 2 small grommets that you removed from the stock airbox earlier will actually fit right here on the Airaid airbox. I will install them back into the frame rail before installing the airbox, but here is where they go. Airaid supplies a grommet for the IAT sensor. Since my car uses this, I will remove the block-off plug and install it. Place the airbox assembly onto the grommets you installed in the frame rail. Then install the air filter onto the velocity stack and tighten the clamp. Secure the airbox to the inner fender using the original bolt. Install one end of the inlet tube to the mass air meter and plug in both your IAT sensor and mass airflow sensor. Install the other end to the throttle body and tighten down all clamps. The install is done. Let's close the hood and take it for a ride. So after driving around a bit with the Airaid cold air kit installed, I have to tell you, maybe it's all in my head, but I feel like it has a bit more low end and mid-range torque. It feels a little smoother, and it has a little bit of sound. I didn't hear that the intake sound went up that much, but I do feel a bit more torque. let's try a nice 20 miles per hour roll on and see how it feels. Oh yeah, she feels good. So overall, if you're looking at a cold air intake, I would recommend the Airaid setup. It has OEM looks, really nice quality on it, and the performance is definitely there. If you have any questions or comments, do me a favor, leave them in the comment section down below, and I'll do my very best to answer them. Thanks for watching. I'll see you.